Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Well, I'm not really a winner. That fire giant in Elden Ring's health was...
Oh, we are going to talk about Elden Ring.
Only a little bit.
We just talked about it for 5 minutes, and Simon's like, "Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about."
I'm just a bit annoyed because just before I came on, the fire giant's health was very minimal.
Listeners, you cannot imagine how happy I am that they are still talking about Elden Ring.
Well, don't worry, Simon. I've beaten Elden Ring, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Okay, well, I'm close.
I am, because I'm just started a new playthrough already. So.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, just before I came on, I was like very close to beating this meat stick, and then he just threw fire at me, and then I just went, oh, okay. And then Faye went, can we talk about dates on this calendar now? And I went, no, I'm going to do the podcast.
No, I'm sad because I lost to a big giant.
Yeah.
Blast from the past, I beat Halo Infinite on Legendary the other day.
Hey,
That's
well
impressive.
done,
That's actually impressive because the last couple of bosses on Halo, I did it on Heroic.
That was ridiculous.
I
That
was
last
like,
boss
come
was
on,
mental.
man, you had to just do some really boring stuff. I think when she does her big energy ball thing and it just explodes, and you're like, come on.
No, that chieftain at the end was the worst. On the last wave, he was pretty bad.
Did you not find the invisible elite guy hard enough? I thought he was insane.
He was very hard. He was actually harder than Escharum, I thought. But
yeah, I think he was one of the hardest in the game.
Now Tripp's the one that feels left out.
Now
so...
I know how Simon feels.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you should
So
just
Tripp, let's just have the same beer, and then Hamish can feel like the one left out.
Can't we make more Elden Ring references that Simon doesn't get?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm going to.
All I get from Hamish about Elden Ring is blah 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 blah.
I died.
Or
yeah.
Try jumping.
Oh god, yeah. Try jumping.
I'm sure we made that
I wish
joke
I
last
had a
time,
giant
so.
sword. That's my favorite was this one got me right. Was try double handing.
The Elden Ring community is very serious and mature.
Yeah, very. Also,
so you've just reminded me of something completely unrelated to Elden Ring or the podcast.
Yeah.
But while living in Canada, I discovered that they have a term for being double parked that is quite rude. You know, double parked as in having two drinks to get through at the same time.
No. What does
if you go to a bar and you've got two drinks, one in each hand.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Like we would say you'd be being double parked.
Right.
But in Canada, that's being known as double fisting.
Well,
which over here would be considered
we
fairly
would consider
rude.
that very rude in the United Kingdom.
I think it's just the word fisting. If you're double fisting, I mean, Christ, that's like a pencil in a cave, isn't it?
So thank you to the Canadians for my education.
Have you ever done Edward Ciderhands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
You definitely know what it is because you
have
probably
you ever
have a
heard
different name.
of Frosty Jacks or
Frosty
like White
Jacks,
Lightning?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, White Lightning.
So you basically have to tape those
to your hands.
to your hands, and then you can't get them off until you finish.
Yeah. We call it Edward Ciderhands.
That's pretty good. It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
It's not clever, but it's pretty cool.
Maybe we should attempt.
I was going to say,
at the
talking of drinking games, we should play Barricade as a podcast.
What is
and
that?
Record. So you basically have to fill a doorway with crates of beer, and you can only leave when you've got rid of all of the beer.
Oh.
I think it's like 6 crates. Or
I'd rather just play
crates.
Edward Ciderhands live.
That's true. Yeah.
We could
just
we could
two
be
bottles
bad.
of cider, not 6 crates of beer before I can leave my own home.
I've got a big door.
Hamish, what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah. What are you drinking, Hamish?
Oh yeah, we've got to do it in order. So I'm beer. It's another beer Moretti.
Murray again.
Oh, you've lost the inspiration on
I
this
know,
lately.
I've got
Yeah.
the last two, and then I'm going to swap it up. What about you, Simon?
So I've gone to the sunny shores of Cornwall for my beer.
Oh, did you? That must have took you
And
ages.
I've gone for a proper job
I do like proper job.
Is it a
from
proper
St
job?
Austell Brewery. Yeah, it's described as a powerfully hopped IPA. 5.5%. It's actually very tasty.
5.5.
All right. What about you, Elden Lord?
So, Elden Lord. Can't remember what Dust Lord, something like that. I can't remember what the ending was called.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. I didn't know that was it.
I'm drinking
Edgelord.
Adnam's Ghost Ship, which I've had before on the podcast. Big fan. Nice citrusy pale ale.
For those of you who aren't into alcohol, the Ghost Ship non-alcoholic version is actually very good.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I drank a lot of the Nanny State Brewdog over the Christmas period as well. That was pretty
Nanny?
good. You have to have it very cold, I find. If you're having a non-alcoholic beer and you don't like the taste, try having it super, super cold out of the fridge. You might like it a bit more. That's what I found.
Yeah. I always drink a Heineken's Blue if I'm doing non-alcoholic. It's the closest thing to actually taste like a beer.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's a pretty good one.
Simon, what are we talking about today on Push the Point, episode 23?
Oh,
So, 23. Can you believe that?
It's a real number, isn't it? 23. It's not even that's crazy. We're almost at a quarter of a century.
Hang on. We must be approaching a year.
It's May, year in May.
Is it May? I thought we started in April.
No, I think the first episode on YouTube is out on May, so it would have been around.
Maybe so we recorded in April. We got together, did a pilot in April, didn't we?
Oh, the pilot. We have to release that at some point, don't we? The terrible
I think
first
pilot. I think the pilot's dead.
Yeah, good.
He hopes the pilot's dead.
No, I don't. Actually,
it wasn't that bad.
I don't hope the pilot is dead. Episode 1. I need to.
I think I might have it somewhere.
I don't know if I saved it in my file
somewhere. Yeah.
Right, what are we doing today? We are going to talk. We're in a bit of a strange position in the Fab season. We've just finished ProQuest season, and we are just coming up to a battle-hardened Blitz event and a skirmish season. Yeah. So I thought we might just talk about the transition between Classic Constructed and Blitz Constructed.
Yeah, isn't that just like this week?
No, because skirmish season's coming up. So basically, this skirmish this weekend is an early access skirmish that Living Realms have managed to arrange with LSS.
That's right.
They're getting their skirmish in advance, which is pretty cool. And the battle hardened, of course.
So hopefully, by the time you listen to this, everyone out there, you'll be on your way to Leeds Armories for skirmish / battle harden.
Yeah, it should be really good.
Okay.
We're gonna then have another fantastic interview. And this week we have none other than the UK national champion, Matt Foulkes.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I should probably add in there ProQuest winner as well.
Yeah, I won ProQuest recently too. So yeah, we'll have Matt on. That'll be really great. And then what are we finishing up with today, Sam?
Well, we did have a what's hot and what's not last week.
Yeah. We can't have.
So I thought what we might do is a quick wrap up and a quick look forward at the ProTour New Jersey.
Sounds great.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
So let's start with Blitz. Well, we'll start with. Should we start with just thoughts on the end of the ProQuest season and moving into Blitz? So
because I want to join in for a bit before
you switch up,
before you zone out.
Yeah. So ProQuest season's wrapped up. We had our last one on Sunday. I think there was one in Canterbury and there was one up in Scotland. I can't remember if it was Dundee or Edinburgh on Sunday.
I didn't know it was all done. It's all proper
but yeah, that was the final weekend. It's been a really interesting season. I went to 6 ProQuests. My first one I managed to get a top 8, and then after that was not particularly successful.
I'm telling you, boys,
struggled to settle on a deck. I think that was the main issue. I started with Briar. I enjoyed that. You changed off Viserai. Well, I actually ended up playing Viserai for the last ProQuest, and I really enjoyed it.
How did you get on?
I won 3 games. I lost a mirror, and I lost against a Bravo, but that's just because I was playing the wrong way.
Yeah,
I should have OTK'd, but then I did OTK and Oldham for exactly 40 health in the final game of the day, which was incredibly satisfying.
Yeah,
off 23 rune chants, I sonated and revealed 3 attacks.
What?
But I had, fortunately, they were good enough to do the job.
Well,
but I
was one of them ninth played?
I had ninth played in hand.
Well, that's always a good start.
And I revealed a swarming meet and greet red and something else that I don't recall. And I had a Rattlebones in Arsenal, so it was pretty secured. But it was, I wanted a bit more than that. But it was really enjoyable. Really enjoyed playing Viscera. I played a bit of Prism as well. Played a bit of Briar at the start. But yeah, I think what I struggled with this season was just sticking to one hero, and I didn't want to play Starvo. Like I don't blame anyone that plays Starvo because Starvo is very good, and the new Starvo, which isn't really new anymore, is quite an interesting deck, but it just wasn't my kind of style in the end. So I prefer playing mixed damage Runeblade kind of heroes. So, and the Aura Prism is just bonkers, so that was quite fun just to play that to understand how it works.
Yeah, well, I said it in the last episode. You know, I bet you guys love it if I show up to an event where you're at, because you do really well whenever I seem to appear.
I don't think I've ever beaten you.
Hype man Hamish.
No, you don't. No, we've never even played Tripp.
We played one game of Blitz once where you OTK'd me.
No, but your performances, you just tend. I show up and I go, hey, and
we get the support.
And you're like, you guys are well on your way.
And I'm like, later.
To be fair, the only one that we were at together, Hamish, I did top 8.
Yeah.
But I had the same score as all the others I went to. So I finished on my last 3 events. I played Chain and I went 4-2, 4-2, 4-2.
Yeah.
Which is nice and consistent. But yeah, there are definitely things that I look back on. I'm like, I could have played that better. Which is the beauty of the game, right? There's always something to learn.
Learned a lot. Definitely learned a lot. Playing Viceroy, especially because that deck has so many different lines.
Yeah, that's the hardest bit.
But it's also the funnest part of the deck, which was just looking at a hand and working out. Especially like I had some crazy hands where it was like 2 become the Arc Knights and 2 attacks, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make 10 ring shots. Why not? Like, yeah, or I could do something completely crazy. Like I could fetch something else, and it's like there's so many different options when you have so many fetch cards with Become, and I guess Rattlebones is sort of like a fetch card for the graveyard.
It is. So, you got a card that finds anything in the deck, and you got the other card that finds anything in the bin.
Yeah, which is really cool.
As long
I really
as you
liked
can pay
it.
for it.
Yeah, but fetching swarmings, but you pay 2 for swarming, wouldn't you? So
yeah.
Sometimes.
Although my favourite bit of the whole ProQuest was watching the mental anguish of Dan Tripp as he played a different hero at almost every ProQuest that he went to.
Yeah, and after each one I kept saying, I should really stick with a hero, shouldn't I? And then the next ProQuest I'm like, well, I'm playing Viceroy this time. But I did say at the start of the ProQuest season, I was going to use these ProQuests to try and improve my understanding of the game, and I certainly did in terms of game.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that go?
Heroes.
How was your...
Really good, because I've learned... I know, obviously, you don't learn a huge amount from playing a few games, but you do learn at least the fundamentals of the hero. And I definitely did that with Prism, this new Aura Prism, which has been really interesting. I think I'd need a little bit more time to sit down with Viceroy and work that one out. And obviously, Briar, I played that because I think Briar is good. I think, unfortunately, her matchup into Starvo is not great, and her matchup into Viceroy is very tricky. If not a bad matchup, I would probably say at the moment. I think Viceroy has become even more greedy, and I think Briar really suffers from that. But at the same time, I think I'll stick with Viceroy for a bit. But it's been a great learning experience. You know me, I'm always going everywhere on the train. I can't drive, but go across the country. It's been exhausting, but it's just been fantastic to go and see people up north who I don't get to see very often. Got to see Sharif, got to see James, got to see you, Simon. Obviously, we chat on the podcast. We don't see each other in person all the time. Saw Hamish. That was all right.
Oh, yeah, I was right. I was sitting there going, what?
That was nice.
For my name
drove me back to the train station. That was pretty legit. And just people...
I like that, because I remember they said if you made the top 8, Hamish, there's absolutely no way I would stuck around.
I'll be gone.
No. See ya.
Yeah. But the other thing I really wanted to say was, I mean, you guys can chime in at any point, but the number of people that came up to me and said that they love the podcast is crazy, and actually, it really feels like we're becoming, like a part of the community. Like, and people clearly like what we're doing, and
I agree,
and happy to tell us that, and it's just been fantastic to hear from anyone that's just said they like the podcast, because it's honestly it's been kind of surreal to. And also, like, if you, like, for me, it's just so nice to walk into a room when I don't know anyone, and then someone comes up to me and says that they like the podcast, because immediately it's like, oh, I guess you kind of do know me, so that makes me feel very welcome. So that's been really nice too. So yeah, it's been a great season. Not the most successful in terms of wins, but actually a good learning opportunity, I would say.
Yeah. What about you, Simon?
So apart from watching the mental anguish of Dan Tripp, I've really enjoyed seeing the standard of play in the UK jump from height to new height. And I mean, as I said, I was fairly consistent. 4-2 across 3 events I'm pretty happy with that. I only top 8'd one. But watching other people and the number of different people make top 8s, whether it be Starvo, Viserai, Chain, Prism, yeah, really good to see so many people doing well at the game. And it just shows how healthy the player base for this game is becoming, and that really excites me.
Yeah, I completely agree, Simon. The quality has gone up a lot. A lot of people who were new to the game are no longer new and have developed their own styles of play and their own decks. And there's a lot of people that have moved over from Magic who are bringing sort of...
Well, not just Magic. I mean, yes, Magic, but also other card games, right?
Sure.
And they bring with them good and bad habits, and they have like become part of the community. And
yeah, definitely.
I don't think you can say like ex-Magic players and Fab players, like everyone here are Fab players now, right?
Yeah, I think it's still fair to recognise that. I think it's important for the game
transfer across.
It shows that Flesh and Blood is having the, I can't believe that there isn't someone at LSS thinking about how do we get Magic players to play Flesh and Blood instead. Like clearly that if I was working for LSS, that would be one of my main priorities, is to bring people over. I think that's happening
already.
And it's definitely happening in the UK, which is great because that's what we need for the game.
Well, their plan has always been not to actively try and get people over. Their plan, like everything, which is always the best one, is just go, well, just make the game really good.
Yeah,
if the game's really good, they'll just come over. And they love the fact that there's another company for their people to keep coming in to playing in stores. So
yeah, it's great for the stores as well because it's just another group of people coming in regularly buying products. Especially a lot of stores in London's also do drinks and stuff, so drinks and food, so they're selling drinks and food to a new group as well. And Fab players, they absolutely love to open packs as well. Like I don't that's apparently like a big thing, and a lot of store people have said this to me, is that Fab players just open packs constantly compared to all other card games. So I guess that's good as well. I mean, we're spending a fortune on lucky dips, but yeah. What about you, Hamish? How was your experience with ProQuest?
Short and sweet. I came in swinging near the start, and I kind of, well, really, as we all know, left on a very low note. Like the first day when I went to Kingdom Gaming and I brought Viserai, I was a bit nervous about it because of Starvo, and it was the first one. But I felt like I really knew my deck, and apart from the only real one loss I had was again, I forgot your name, dude, but he's got a really, really long beard and played Starvo. I think he's like one. I think is it Joe Stamper?
Could be.
Yeah, he's got long hair and a big long beard. And
if you've got long hair and a long beard, please contact the podcast.
I do apologise, but yeah, it could have been Joe. But he absolutely just smashed me to bits. That was like the only game I played that was just like, oh man, this is this was totally one-sided. And then I lost to Rob Catton, but that one was definitely like just an extremely tight game.
Yeah.
I thought, all right, okay, cool, I can walk into next week. And I actually came up, the deck tech I put up, that was, I felt like that was solid. I don't think anyone was in the UK specifically was going to bring something along like that, and I was very, very excited to really put that to the test. And I think that's the lowest note, is that I didn't, because it was so flexible. My sideboarding plan was so easy. I had so many tools. I had so many ways to do things. It felt like nationals again on terms of my understanding on what I want this to do. And then I decided to bring something I had zero.
Threw it in the bin.
I just threw. I felt like the last day I did, I threw it away. So it kind of left my ProQuest thing done, and it's resulted in me just sort of going. I then after that, I was then wrestling with myself about whether I'm going to go to Pro Tour or not, which luckily was subsided with the fact that Elden Ring came out. So that was kept my FOMO at bay. But yeah, it's just now turned into, do I go to Pro Tour in New Jersey? And it's sadly, I'm not going to go. You guys can go, and hopefully, well, you're going to go anyway because you've.
I'm going to the calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently like 92nd on leaderboard for lifetime. So
there's with family holidays, a world event coming up this year, and in my opinion, I do feel like there will be another Pro Tour. I don't know whether it's going to be in the Europe, but if it does, I wouldn't be surprised. And to me, I'd rather just be more financially prepared.
I thought that was basically confirmed. Didn't James White say? Yeah.
Oh no, but he's saying there is a Pro Tour.
There's going to be a second Pro Tour, and it's going to be in Europe. Yeah,
that was always the plan. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then.
Well done. So, great opinion.
Nailed it. It's definitely Inception. I swear someone's even told me this, and I still forgot. I can't wait for episode 24 for me to say. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Pro Tour in Europe. But yeah, no, I'm just financially setting myself up for that.
That makes sense. And I think also just like sometimes that happens with tournaments and stuff. Like you made a call, right? Like in hindsight, sure, it was the incorrect call. You probably should have played Viserai, but you never know. And like I'm sure a lot of people were trying to make that decision, not just who had a deck in mind and then watched a couple of Pro Quests and saw Starvo absolutely stomping and thought to themselves, you know what? Why not? The trouble
I didn't even take the high roll one.
No, yeah, that was your mistake.
That was my mistake.
If you hadn't played it before, you definitely should have taken the high roll.
I decided to play hard mode, which is it was so that it felt pretty low. That's kind of it. And I suppose really the rest of this thing now, like ProQuest is done, and I didn't even notice it was finished because I don't have these long amount of dates. And maybe some other people who are listening to this podcast can relate to this, where they didn't sign up for a billion like you guys did, or 3.
I did 4.
4. Yeah, and they
4
maybe
is
just
still a lot though, isn't it? And 6 is far too many. And originally I was going to do 8, but that didn't end up happening because I was too tired. And I agree with you, Hamish. Like it's important to remember, like literally the majority of people that go to a tournament will not get in the top 8. Like literally, that is how it works, right?
Yeah.
If 32 people, 75% are not going to get in the top 8. That's just how tournaments work. So I hope people feel like.
I think it's important to recognise the people that do get in the top 8 as well. Like,
but they get that. They get that already. I'm just saying, like, if you've gone to a Pro Quest and you think, I didn't get in the top 8, I feel like I let myself down. I don't feel like that at all, because it's just a process of getting better and better, isn't it? Like
maybe I wasn't expressing myself
very
well.
Jeez.
But I think like Hamish at the beginning of the season sort of said, well, I've got 2 to go to and I want to push my luck.
Yeah.
And you and I, Tripp, were a bit more forthright in saying we want to go and we want to compete at every one we go to.
Yeah.
And we've always said as a group, actually, it's important to set your own standards as a player. Totally. And there is nothing wrong with going as a local community player, going to your 1 or 2 local Pro Quests and going 3 and 3 or 2 and 4, and having an amazing day out. Right? That is a good use of 20 quid or 30 quid going to your
just going somewhere with your mates.
Going with your mates, going a bit further out of your comfort zone, going to a higher level event and having a really great day, meeting some of the community.
Yeah, exactly.
There is also, from my point of view, I think recognizing the people that consistently get in the top 8 and knowing how much effort they have had to put in to get there is an incredible achievement. And
I hats off to them. I kind of feel like a little bit sad that I wasn't that, but I didn't think that I was ever going to get that same sort of chance really, because if you can go to 6 events and get top 8 in 4 of them, that's pretty good, right? You know, for me, it'll be, well, the very first 2 you got to go to get those same sort of results. You've got to top 8 both of them, and then you're like, oh, look, you know, you can get those results, right? But I sort of walked away going, did I really get what I want out of this? And it was, no.
Yeah,
I think I failed.
It's what you set your goals. Like, my goal is I wanted to get 2 top 8s out of the 6, and I only got 1. So I would have really liked to have got another top 8. I tend to not aim for like anything more than just getting the top 8, because in my eyes, you just aim for the top 8, and then whatever happens in the top 8, right?
It's over now, and
so we're gonna move on to just because we said we were going to talk a bit about transition to Blitz, but I'm going to be really selfish and just give a shout out to 4 guys local to me who have done really well, and they've qualified for the Pro Tour, got consistent top 8s. So Matt Light, Jacob Han, Johnny Chapman, and Isaac Murray, consistently top 8'd multiple. That's awesome.
I want to give a special shout out to Jacob Hand, because he was second in a lot, right? Like, and he
came second in 2, and then he won
the last one, right? Like, was it the last one on this? Mm-hmm. Oh, what was the last one he went to? So
Manchester.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Because that must have been tough, because it was because it was. I don't think he got one from like a sometimes if the first place person had already got one, so I don't.
Yeah, his finals were always someone that was also
every final was against someone who
that's
hadn't
crazy.
qualified.
It's pretty crazy. It says a lot about the scene as well that we had such a diverse finalists. Yeah.
So moving on from one of Hamish's lows to another, Blitz season is now upon us.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I know Hamish. Hamish famously, it's almost a bit of a meme now, isn't it? That Hamish doesn't like Blitz. But the number of people I've spoken to and have been like, I am so looking forward to this Blitz season because it's like a detox of Classic Constructed. Yeah. It's such a quick, fun format in our almost or collective opinion. And it's just nice to have something a bit. I just think it's a bit trashy almost. Like it's a bit like it's like trash TV.
It's like trash TV.
You're just gonna play a bit of Blitz. I can't wait for this weekend and just have a laugh.
I saw some people play a game of Blitz today, and I think the only thing that
went over and he flipped the table.
I just wanted to go in and just throw some water on them and say, "Wake up! Come on!" No, I enjoy it. The thing that actually gets me buzzing about the game is probably just more creative juices for deck building. That really gets me quite excited about anything really. And I kind of just saw I had some ideas. So if I have some ideas, I get a little bit into it. The problem for me is that the only thing that matters is this week coming, and I'm not going. So I just was like, I'm back to just not caring now. And I think I lost a game of Blitz to Prism, and I just went, yeah, you know what? This format is trash, even though I suck. But I was like, nah, whatever. I was actually up for playing Reinhardt. I think that was the thing that was like, Reinhardt Blitz. This is fine. Yeah, but that's about it for me. But yeah, I think maybe the ranking of heroes is changed in Blitz. You know,
I said this before, but the introduction of Oldhim into the Blitz meta has just completely thrown everything up in the air, because everyone associates Blitz with being this super fast, aggressive format, and Oldhim can just shut down so many decks by just being like, "Yep, I'm just gonna block, and you're gonna run out of cards, and I'm gonna win." Mm-hmm. And that's what started to happen in the last season is. The traditional kind of dominance of Ira and other and Kano, which is traditionally Ira, Kano, and Dorinthia were kind of like the 3 big ones in Blitz. But Oldhim, Ira really struggles into Oldhim. Oldhim completely smashes Kano unless they are super good and can do proper good setup stuff.
Yeah, when you got Steadfast.
Like it's really hard.
Even just Heart of Ice.
And of course, Heart of Ice, and Dorinthia doesn't like Oldhim either. So Oldhim's been a really good introduction. I do think it's still a tricky one to get into time, but I think Oldhim players can do it consistently, which is great. But yeah,
I think there might be a new trio at the top. I think
What's the new trio?
Instead of Kano, Ira, and Dorinthia, I think we're going to have Oldham, Kano, and Kasai.
Kasai is bonkers. Yeah, I played against Kasai today, and Blood on Our Hands or whatever that is, it's just
That's a bonkers specialization.
Absolutely dumb. Like,
it's Lumina Ascension, isn't it?
Well, it's just like make both your weapons.
It does everything.
It does everything, and you sometimes and it's just such a good use of your spare copper. Like sometimes with Kasai, you're getting like 6 or 7 copper, and it's just like, well, I'll just play cash. And I've got 3 left, right? I'll just play this Blood on Our Hands, use up the rest of it, and make both my swords be able to attack twice, or one would go again, and like, or if you've got 4 copper, you can make both of them attack twice, give them both go again until I think it's go again until the end of the turn.
No, just go again once.
Okay, that would be dumb. But it's
what
really
about Prism?
strong. Prism is fine. I think Prism aggro Prism
or
is a
Prism.
Thing. Well, we'll have to see. I don't think that
I just don't
Prism,
think the life totals are high enough to do anything.
I don't know, man.
I think Aura Prism's going to suffer against Kasai because you can just dink a shield. Because you just go.
Can you?
You just go Saber, and then throw a bunch of attack reacts on it, and then dink an Aura with it, and they're just going to run out of health, right?
Well, they get 2 attacks every turn, right? With hit
Or
and run,
more.
with Blade Runner, with Glint. They've got multiple.
Yeah,
attacks.
especially if they start putting in things like Dust Path, and just be like, yeah, okay, can attack again.
But what happens if the auras just get out of hand?
I don't know. I people can give it a go.
Who knows?
But
Who knows? I think
I just saw it and I just
but,
thought,
yeah, I think you're right though.
It's trickling into Blitz.
In my opinion, we've got a top 3, which we've talked about, and then you may have different versions of Prism. You might have a Viserai mid-range type deck. You might have a Chain.
Yeah, maybe Viserai.
I think they're all good challenger decks, right?
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting to see that field of heroes has changed.
I think we have a
we've
meta.
not spoken about Benji.
Oh, Benji's so good. Well, Benji is just like, it's just that there's a check to certain heroes. It's like, do you have a fridge? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I died. But yeah, Benji's interesting.
Even Ira with 100 wins, right?
Yeah, I was playing Ira 100 wins today. It's dumb when it works. I did like a Kadachi 100 wins flying kick. Just dealt like a ton of damage. It just means you can go super wide as Ira, which you actually, believe it or not, with people who've played against Ira, you probably think it's really easy to do. It's actually not that easy. And you normally need 4 attacks to finish off the game at the end if you don't have any raises. So being able to pitch 100 wins and then at the end of the game do like Kadachi 100 win, and then something is probably enough to kill a bunch of people. But I just think it might be a little bit too slow. But I don't know. I enjoyed playing it.
I was going to say, for me, the transition to Blitz is getting my head back around how quickly 20 life disappears.
Yeah.
Like in CC, you've got time to use your life as a resource. And I feel like in Blitz, you blink and you're dead. And you're like, oh, what happened? What happened?
Yeah. Pretty much.
There's no time to set up anymore.
No, it's no. I agree.
Well, Benji's there.
Unless you're Oldham and you run 20 defense reacts, right?
Yeah.
What does that deck do against Exude? This is what I want to know. Because I'm already running. My Ira game plan to Oldham was just run Exude and Exude Razor. I'd love it if they had a handful of defense reactions. That would be great.
You could still Steadfast.
No, you can't play Essence.
Yeah, you can.
Not against Exude.
Well, do it before Exude hits.
It stops instance. Yeah,
well, you do it in response.
Response.
God. Don't tell people that.
Well, they just drop it and you go, oh, okay, Steadfast before things kick off and then we'll block up.
You can still get around it. We'll find out if I take Ira to the Blitz tournament, which I'm so tempted to do because I absolutely love playing that deck more than
You're both going to the Battle Harden, yeah?
Yeah, going to the skirmish and the Battle Harden Saturday and Sunday.
I'm just going to the Battle Harden on Sunday. I can't make the Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully, everyone, if there's a chance, you get that Tabletop 24, we'll bring Simon and Tripp along for a chat.
Yeah, that would be really great.
Yeah,
We've chatted about it, and then we're going to try and get on the stream, and we will try and have a nice chat with you guys over the live stream. We'll obviously both be playing, so we'll have to find the time. Maybe I'll make sure I play a nice quick hero. So
yeah, we can both try and get
this will be a first for everyone. I think this will be the first time that only Simon and only Tripp talk without a me.
I know, it's going to be amazing.
Usually I'm everywhere.
You're the live stream king, yeah.
Well, no, I'm just usually, if one of you guys are doing a thing, if there's someone that needed to jump on with you, it's always me. But this time it's just you two, and you'll probably be like, "Wow, this is great. This is great. Fuck, I haven't got this fucking idiot to contend with."
But anyway, it's Blitz
What?
is coming up. People are excited. Blitz is a great format for new players. So if you do know someone who's been meaning to get into the game for a while, maybe take them along to a Blitz armory.
This is a great opportunity for new players.
A lot of armories are switching to
need...
Blitz for skirmish, so it's a great chance to bring someone along.
So Blitz has got me excited just to see another change in the meta and some new exciting decks. And do you know what? Someone who has been at the forefront of making competitive decks and has probably played the best deck in the format in the last 2 seasons has been national champion of the UK, Matt Foulkes.
Yeah.
So Hamish, take it away.
We have got the UK national champion and multiple. I don't know if you won multiple pro quests. I know that you've
just
won
the one. Just the one I've got.
Multiple top
6
eight.
top 8s.
Yeah, multiple top 8 winners. Matt Foulkes.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, Hamish.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very good.
Yeah.
I feel like we're almost at the end of sort of like this intense 5-week period where we started with it feels so long ago that the ProQuest season started.
It does, doesn't it?
I feel like I've aged. Like every week people see me and they go, "Man, Matt, you look more homeless than you did last weekend."
I don't think that, man. I feel, every time I see you, you look fresh, ready to go, and looking like you've played 200 hours of Flesh and Blood. And your Discord is continuously says playing on tabletop simulator.
People always message me about this. Like, so on Discord, just to be clear to listeners, it shows if you're in a game on tabletop simulator, and I always forget to show. So people will like screenshot me like, "Matt, have you been in that game of tabletop for 23 hours?" And I'm like, "No, I just forgot to close it." Like,
I thought that.
So I do play a lot. But like, I'm not putting in 23-hour marathons.
You're just you're psyching everyone out in the UK Flesh and Blood Discord to go, "This guy's just still training. He's still going."
How do we stop him? He plays for 23 hours a day.
How do you stop someone that he's in the Hyperbole chamber in Dragon Ball Z? He will not come out until he is ready.
No. I mean, I do, like, when I'm, like, before, in the lead up to ProQuest season, I was playing, like, 10 to 15 games every day.
Yeah.
I was trying to, because we played the Kingdom Invitational.
Yes.
A few weeks before the ProQuest season started. And I wasn't super happy with how well I did there.
Right. Okay.
Not just from a results perspective. I just with my own play. I think for a lot of people, we'd taken sort of this long break after Nationals, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We took this really long break after Nationals, where we were the first Nationals of the season, and that was our big event. And after that, there was a bit of a skirmish season, and we played for a bit. But then there was just nothing for like the best part of 2 months.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so you came out of UK Nationals, you went through all the thing. That's all calmed down now. We've all moved on, and you've settled into becoming the UK National Champion. We're now approaching the ProQuest, and you've got this this mantle now. You are the UK champion walking into events. And how was your preparation to the ProQuest season? Because I know, well, from a conversations I've had I know for a fact you're going ProTour. Right? That's just like you are going. Whether you
even if I didn't win a Pro,
I knew that.
I said even if I didn't win a ProQuest, I would just use my PTI from Nationals to go to the ProTour.
Yeah.
Because like the way I view it is, I really would like to be quite good at this game.
Yes.
And do well. And if I don't back myself to be good enough to get a PTI somewhere else along the line, then I don't value my shot at doing well at Worlds that highly anyway. So I want to be there at every competitive event, and really try and build myself to be, not just the UK national champion, but, maybe do well at a Pro Tour, maybe do well at Worlds, do well at any tournament that's in front of me.
Yes.
Because, I've tried to find, at least in preparation, the best players I can, the absolute best people I can find to play against. So at least so far, I've been able to at least hold my own against what I would consider some of the most stiff competition around.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that can continue and I can continue to learn and improve, because I do still think that there are some massive glaring flaws in my game. And so specifically, I think in long games, when it comes to pitch stacking, it's definitely a part of the game that, while not particularly relevant in a lot of matches, I think it's a part of my game that is underdeveloped, just by nature of a lot of the other top players have been around a lot longer, and they existed in a time in the game when, in WTR, Crew, and Arc, where you would see that second cycle almost every single game, and if you couldn't do that, you were irrelevant from the get-go, because if you weren't building for the second cycle and planning for that, then you would struggle.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I've played decks like Briar, Prism, Viserai. All of these decks, they can go the whole way around, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Very often they are first cycle decks and first cycle strategies.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's just to detract that just a little bit, because you've said something that's quite interesting. And there's only one other person that I've spoke to, and I'm sure there's others, right? But there's only one other person that I've spoke to. It's Rob Catton. When I saw him at Kingdom Gaming, he said, "I'm going to the Pro Tour. I've got my PTI from the ProQuest at Nationals that he won." I said, "So if you don't win this, are you still gonna go?" And he went, well, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, wow, that's you guys really, really do back yourself on this." And I know I'm one of them, and I know a couple of others that managed to get their PTIs through Nationals. They look at this as, well, that's me going to Worlds, right? I don't want to use up this invite. And it's interesting that the two long Magic players back themselves in such a way to go, "I'm going to use my PTI to go to the Pro Tour. I don't care." Is that something that has taken through experience from playing a lot of Magic and going to Pro Tours and going to these, fairly big events in your area, that you've actually just sort of gained a lot more confidence in yourself to use these finite resources to get into these places? No, do you know what I mean?
I understand. I mean, I think, like you said, for a lot of people, the PTI is a banked invite to Worlds, and anything else they get to attend on the way is a bonus, and that's a reasonable way to approach it. But for me, and I can't necessarily speak for Rob. I know Rob.
No,
I know Rob well, actually. I've been abroad on trips with Rob before. We were friends long before either of us knew this game existed. And I think Rob is an exceptional player.
Yes.
But at least for myself, I'm okay. Like if I didn't win a ProQuest, I somehow didn't grind the EXP required, which I was prepared to do. I was prepared.
It doesn't surprise me.
Even before they'd announced everything else, because I thought that there would be a decent shot I would be able to get an invite either through ELO, which they decided not to use, which is fair enough, it makes sense, or if they used EXP, which they did decide to use. I looked into doing the grind for EXP, which I think would have been feasible for me to do anyway, because I have enough time by the nature of my work to be able to play extra armories in the day, then play all the ProQuests on the weekend. I think and honestly, one of the best ways to gain an invite, I don't know if you've looked at the Pro Tour structure, but you only need to top 32 the Pro Tour
I have
to get another invite to the next one. And I say only top 32 like it was something easy. I don't think that will be easy by any means.
No, because you've got
someone can
still
do that,
hundreds of people showing
yeah,
up.
you're still probably looking at like 300-400 people, maybe more.
Yeah,
it's not an easy task by any means, but I do think that like you are giving yourself a good shot at coming back for the next one if you prepare well and show up to the Pro Tour. And honestly, I just really want to be there specifically at the first one, you know?
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I know
it is the start of something, hopefully, momentous, you know?
Absolutely.
And I played previously on the Magic Pro Tour a couple of times. And preparing and traveling and attending those events are like some of my most treasured memories. Like some of the best weeks of my life were just spent in a house with a bunch of friends, like just playing day and night, preparing for a tournament. And so, you know, hopefully I can emulate a similar experience with the Flesh and Blood Pro Tour.
Oh, that's I'm the FOMO's kicking in for me now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I mean, I'm fortunate in that I don't necessarily have a lot of responsibilities in any part of my life, and so
it's one of those things where I mean, it's about you, not me. But and I've said this. You probably have. If everyone's probably heard this already on this episode, but it's more financial things, and it's trying to weigh up the whole. You know, I really, really, really want to go. I actually can go fairly easy enough. I've got an accommodation in there from a friend who lives in Queens in New York City. You know, all I need is a flight, right? All I need is a flight. I've got a PTI. I could go. You know, it's this whole. I can throw it all in and do it, but it's for me. I know that once it's all over. And you know that when Worlds then gets announced, it's going to come back again, isn't it? People who missed the Pro Tour, it'll be another thing coming round, and you'll soon realise that the Pro Tour's been and gone, and you know there's something else coming up.
Yeah, that's you're definitely right. I don't think it's definitely not the be all end all, because it's definitely not the end. We know that there will be another Pro Tour, and that's coming probably sooner than we might realise. They just put up the announcement today. I don't know if you saw on the Fab website. Well, they didn't put up the announcement. They put up the spoiler for the announcement. The announcement. The grey block that something is coming, but what that is. And that'll be in Europe. So that should hopefully be. They said that should be in Europe. So hopefully, I don't think you need to experience massive FOMO and just think, like you said, at the very least, you have a Worlds invite.
That's
at the very least, and that's not a little thing,
No, and I think that's the thing for even that's just an experience personally for me. And there's a lot of people probably listening to this that will go, "Well, that must be nice," and it's like, well, it doesn't matter what it is, right? It could be just these ProQuest events, for example. There's people that have been managed to get to multiple ProQuests in different areas, and you probably wanted to do more, and you could because of and you couldn't, right? Or whatever it is, and it's just a kind reminder to just say, look, it's not it's not the end of the world. Trust me, like this ProQuest season, I felt like I missed out so much, and then now it's all done. It is quick how people will go. It's done.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly, but if when you're sat there, you've just been eliminated from a top 8 or contention, you go, I've blown my shot. But it doesn't matter. There's another one.
Yeah, there'll be something else.
We're all here to play for fun.
Yeah,
we're here for a good time. No one's life is on the line.
Not yet.
That would be some serious tense games.
That'll be the Rumble server extreme. So since we're banging on about ProQuests, your ProQuest season was. How did you feel it went? For you.
So I've thought about that because I won the second ProQuest I played this season.
Congratulations.
I made an unconventional choice that none of the other maybe the sort of grinders, sort of traveling players decided to make. Was I headed about 5 hours out of my way. I went to the Kingdom Gaming ProQuest, which is about 55 players, and then made another 4-hour journey onto Lowestoft.
Yeah.
Which, for people who are unfamiliar, is the easternmost settlement in the UK.
Right. Okay.
And the shop itself, which is Skyward Fire Games,
yeah.
which, and to be clear, I was expecting in this tiny town, quite literally as far as you can go, the ends of the earth when it comes to the UK. Yeah. I wasn't expecting a lot, but genuinely, and my girlfriend was there with me, she said, this is the nicest game shop we've been to.
Oh, wow.
It was really a lovely place, and like I got to give props to them. They had a stream set up, like, you know, everyone there was really friendly. It was a really, really, really good tournament. Like, so they just had a beautiful, lovely shop, and like a lovely staff and a lovely tournament and a lovely community.
Lovely.
I made the decision to travel there because I knew a lot of the competitive players and a much bigger field would be in Nottingham that day.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, I love playing competitive tournaments, but I'm not above, you know, trying to find the best chance to win. You know?
Yes, no, that's fair. You know, you go out your way to find something with a decent shot to win. You know, there's no point rocking up to the Royal Rumble every day.
Exactly. And so I decided, and that's not to speak against the quality of the players there. I played a lot of good players and a lot of friendly players, and I think I got pretty fortunate on that day. I was playing Prism, and I played 4 Oldhams across the day.
Oh, that's very fortunate.
Which it happened to be in the top 4 and the final as well.
Right.
And it did feel like I'd ran a bit blessed that day, you know.
Yeah,
I think you need to get lucky to win any tournament.
You need. There's an element of it's plays and matchups always.
Yeah, people came to me after nationals and was like, "Man, how do you go 15-0?" And like sure, I could say that I think I had probably the best deck in the room for that day.
Yeah,
you know, I think that not just me, but a lot of the guys that we prepared with. Shout out to Matt Light, who ran the draft camp and couldn't actually attend nationals. Yeah. I think we'd done a lot of really, really good work to understand the draft format. You know, we could say, but like that doesn't mean you go 15-0. You could do all those things. Like I went 15-0 because I got very, very, very lucky many times throughout the course of a tournament. Like so many times I could have lost. Like even in the final, on one of the final turns, I go electrify, and I just off the top just draw the Nimblism, which is just the perfect card for my turn.
Yeah,
it's like it takes my turn from being like 10 damage to like 17 damage. Yeah. You know, just like that, and I'm like, wow, I guess it's just my tournament. You know.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think in Lowestoft, you know, I got really fortunate with my pairings on the day. I think I had a really good deck that I prepared really well. And so I got my win early in the season, and then it left me with a question of how do I want to approach the rest of the season? And I chose to stick with Prism for basically the entire season because, you know, after I won, I still thought that there was more innovation and more work to do on the deck, and I really wanted to understand and get more practice in.
Yeah. And
really commit to the hero because I think there is a lot of value in trying to get depth on a hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, as you're a testament to, you know, once, you know, you can pick up the hero and play it for a couple of weeks and you might have, you know, the basics down, but the more you play, the more you'll learn and the more layers you'll understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Spent a lot of time playing Viserai, and
exactly.
it's kind of nice to know. It's good on both ends, right? Yeah, because if someone else is playing the hero, you know what they want to do, you know, and that's actually, you know, it's a huge chunk of the game plan is knowing what the opponent wants to do is very important.
Yeah, or knowing where they're weak as well.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. If there's anything else, if there's any shout outs or anyone you want to, you know, thank for your journey here, you know, the point of where you've been practicing to get to UK. To be a UK national champion and your awesome successes in this ProQuest season, is there any people that you want to shout out for that?
I guess I'd like to shout out Matt Light. He is one of the first few people I spoke to, at least from the UK, when it came to playing this game, and I knew Matt from Magic, and I'm sure it's so long ago for dinosaurs like you might not be able to remember what it was like when you start the game and you're like, what's this new game? Where do I play it?
Yeah.
Who do I play it with? How do I play it? And like for me, Matt was one of the first people. I messaged him like, "Hey, I'd like to play Flesh and Blood, and I see that there's these ProQuest this weekend. Which deck should I try?" And he's like, "You probably play by chain. It's probably the best deck."
Yeah.
And so I remember I learned to play. This is on a Tuesday. I played a couple of games on TTS. I bought the cards on the Thursday, and from ProTech Cards, and I said, "Sorry," I said, "Please, please, please, can you send them today? I'll pay you anything extra. Please go to the post office." They made a special trip to the post office to be able to send them on the Friday, or on the Thursday, to get to me the Friday, to be able to drive up to Derby on the Saturday to play
me.
My first event ever, which I did in fact play you with. And I remember you asked me, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. How long you been playing?" Which, is a pretty reasonable game because a lot of people are quite new, especially back then.
Yes.
And I remember, I said I've been playing for about 3 hours. Yeah, about 3 hours.
And I lent you a rune chant, didn't I?
You lent me a 4 rune chant. You did indeed.
Yes.
And so and Matt was there that day as well, and then ever since then he didn't play the event. He just dropped by because it's his local shop.
Oh, sure.
But it was like he also went to the effort of putting on a draft camp for us before nationals.
I heard about that,
and I think that was instrumental. All of us that put in the time and effort to go to draft camp performed really well in nationals, specifically within the drafting portion. One of my favorite stories from nationals was Mike Kerslake.
Yeah.
Or Big Mike, as we like to call him affectionately.
Yeah.
Who was, and I don't mean this in a bad way, one of the less experienced players at our draft camp.
Yeah.
A lot of us had come from playing Magic, where we drafted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and I think those skills are quite transferable. So drafting is a very foreign skill set when you start. And Mike, came into the draft camp feeling pretty down about his ability to draft, and even at the end of draft weekend, he was, not feeling great about it because he's like, "Man, I spent all weekend not doing that well." And, we reiterated to him, "Trust me, Mike, the learning and the work that you've done in this weekend, that puts you head and shoulders above people at nationals. Most people won't have had the opportunity or the privilege to be able to spend their weekend practicing and learning as focused as we have on this one goal." And so I remember when I sat down in pod 1 of nationals, and I sat down right next to Mike, and he shrugged his shoulders and goes, he was 3-0 at this point. He goes, "I'm in the pod of death." And I look him dead in the eyes and I go, "Mike, it's a pod of death because you're fucking in it." And sure enough, he went 2-1 in that pod, and then he 3-0'd his pod on the second day.
I remember he 3-0'd his pod on the second day. That was sick.
And I was so happy to see someone who he didn't necessarily feel super confident or super able in his abilities, to see that actually he was wrong. He was capable, and now he's now he quite likes drafting because he realizes actually now I've put the effort and time in. That's actually something I'm quite good at. And so that was something that was one of my favorite parts of nationals, was being able to also see my friends do really well, because I just you'll see me even in tournaments I get knocked out of. I'm usually there till the end because I like watching and seeing my friends do well, or just watching and following the action.
Yeah, no, that's sick. So big shout out to Mike Kerslake and Matt Light. Anyone else, or are we all cool?
Nah, the rest of them they're nothing to me. So.
No worries. I'm sure. If you know Matt Light, I'm sure you know what he means. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and hopefully we can catch some games sometime soon.
I think I play every day. That goes out to basically everyone as well.
Yes.
I try to be pretty. I try to make myself pretty available. If people are looking for people to practice with, or want some advice about the game, as long as you're polite, I'm pretty much happy to answer anyone's questions about whatever format or their deck list or play some games. I try to be a useful and helpful member of the community. So if you do need advice or help, just hit me up. I usually don't bite.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on.
All right. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Ta-da.
I want to say thank you to Matt Foulkes, and whenever I've met him at events, he's been nothing but personable and helpful, and I think he's really sort of growing into a role of a top competitive player in the UK.
Oh, absolutely. He's
thank you for that interview.
Yeah, no, he's
Matt.
he's the one guy at the minute that he's pushing results, like serious results. He's
putting the time in.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
God, that guy has seriously put the time in.
It's the reps and the practice, and if you want to get better, you don't have to do what Matt does. Jesus Christ, but you could do a bit more reps.
Yeah, you probably want a life outside of the game as well.
No, that's Matt.
Matt's been putting in some massive reps.
I mean, he'd agree, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, before we move on, I'm going to be selfish, and I just want to talk about...
You're not doing another shout-out, are you?
No.
You've already done one.
No.
You get one per episode, Simon.
No more shout-outs. I'm just going to talk about some recent grading returns from...
Oh, so here we go. Simon just wants to show off how big his trunk is. Go on.
No,
but you can't. It's a podcast.
No.
What are you going to do? You're just going to show.
Next time we're on live stream, I'll show everyone.
Oh, Simon, they look really good. I love those little boxes.
No, it's fine. I was going to talk about it. But
Simon, some people want to know, what are they?
Some people just don't appreciate. Well,
we don't care, but
some people in the audience we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it another time when I've got a live stream to myself.
All right.
Tripp's face right now.
Simon's going to do a live stream where he's just going to show his graded cards, and I bet it'll be our most watched live stream.
I haven't got that many. There's not many.
Simon, please.
There's a couple.
No,
I keep my gold cap in the pocket in my bag.
What we were going to talk about, really, is the Pro Tour, and I know we've already said, and very, very sad that Hamish can't make it, because it would have been the push to point trio. Do you remember the Brett Domino trio? The push to point trio.
The Domino trio.
In New
What's
York.
that?
The Brett Domino trio.
No, what's that?
That's a
is
niche
that like
reference.
The Rat Pack.
Just go away and Google.
Or is it a quad?
Brett Domino trio.
Brett Domino trio. I'm going to look at it now.
Go away.
Not in the middle of the podcast, though.
But it would have been.
Internet's live.
It would have been the push to point trio in New Jersey, live from the Pro Tour, and I'm really sad that can't be happening. However, Tripp and I are going to go, and we're going to make the most of it.
And we're staying in the same Airbnb, right?
Why are they called the Brett Domino trio and there's only two of them?
Wouldn't you like to know? That's your homework for next time, Hamish.
The third one is
hang on. There is a third
Jesus
one.
Christ.
There used to be three. There's now two.
Oh, that's also there is the Brett Domino trio, because there used to be three and now there's two.
Are going to be Tripp and
Hamish was
staying
like,
in the same Airbnb.
When we had the break for the interview, Hamish was like, "Let's keep the last bit tight, shall we?"
And I think what would be really great is if we use the Pro Tour as a bit of an opportunity to go and meet some of our fellow content creators, actually. And say hello, right?
And our international audience, because we know we have over 50% of our audience is from the US of A.
Absolutely.
So we're very excited to meet some of you.
So there may be a couple of dice on offer. And if you come and say hello to us and you're not from the UK, then we would love to chat and know a bit more about you and get to connect with our audience from overseas.
I'm not going to miss out too much, because I know for a fact the pair of you will just ignore me while I'm there. Like you always do at every...
True.
Yeah, you do. You're like, I'm too like, come on, everyone, let's party. And so I was like, I feel really tired. And Tripp just goes,
Tripp, what are you hoping to achieve
really
at the Pro Tour this year?
So I'm also hoping to meet a few content creators. I just want to have a good showing at the Pro Tour. Like, I don't mind... I'm not aiming for like a top day 2 or even a day 2. I just want to have a decent showing.
Yeah.
Hopefully win as many as I lose, that kind of thing. Because we have to bear in mind that standard is going to be incredibly high. We're talking winners of Pro Quests and very long-term players of the game who are going to be there. And I want to do decently and meet a bunch of people, and also just rep the podcast as well as I can as well.
Yeah, I think it's you're back. I'm now feeling like I want to go.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you see Simon's literally, I was like, I'm so sad that Hamish can't make it.
No, he's not. You guys are like,
a single tear falls down his face.
No. Tripp's just going, I don't care.
I don't care. You do what you like, mate. I'm not going to talk you into anything.
No, I was like, Tripp, can you hold my hand for a little bit?
Yeah, please. Please tell me you want me to be there.
He's like, no, I'm not.
But yeah, like I think the main thing probably on anybody's mind who's going and playing in the Pro Tour from the UK is they just want to rep their country, right? Like James White said this before, that he thinks that, you know, representing your country at a tournament level is a really important thing and is important to anyone. And you just want to go and show that the UK scene is strong and that we have great players and that we have the capability of doing well. My main thing for the Pro Tour is not a personal goal. I just want to see a couple of UK players in day 2, and I would love to see a UK player make top 8. That would be a success.
That would be amazing.
I don't want it. It's not going to be me, but I would love for a UK player to make a top 8 because it would just say, look, we are capable of competing at that level. I don't want to put pressure on anyone. I think even if we have a fair number of people make day 2, that would be really great to see too. Because I do think the scene is strong, and I agree with what Simon was saying earlier in the podcast. The improvement is huge. The quality of the new players coming into the game is incredible, and I think that's going to translate into results at the Pro Tour. And I'd love to see a couple of UK players get on the Pro Tour. You know, the old Pro Tour. You do well and well, and you get invited to the next one. Keep bouncing along the Pro Tour. The circuit, exactly, Simon. The circuit.
I would like
the old Pro Tour.
I would like all the
Pro Tour circuit.
I'd like all the UK players, if you're up for it. And there's a lot of us, so it might be a logistical nightmare. But I think it'd be awesome for once. Let's all just band together and go, you know what? I know that we all want to win. But let's try and get this like someone in the top 8 of the Pro Tour, and let's get that guy to be a UK. Let's all just test. Let's just go. Let's just try and figure out a really, really good, strong deck to all take together. And I know that there's different testing groups within the UK, and when we're all battling against each other in pro quests and nationals and stuff like that, you know, fair enough. But we're all going overseas now. Let's try and actually collectively get a guy in the top 8, and let's all work together on that one. That would be cool. You don't have to, obviously, but that would be so cool to see.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great time. And I mean, I want to say if you're not in the Pro Tour, if you could afford it, and that is obviously it is expensive. So don't get me wrong. It'd be great to go to the calling if you can't make the Pro Tour. The calling sounds like it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of people are going just for the calling because it's going to be huge.
And then if you drop out of the calling, then you've got Battle Hardened as well. There's 3 huge events.
So much going on, yeah. I just feel like it's going to be a great... There's going to be so many different people from all over the world playing Fab together, and I think that's what the game... It's crazy, isn't it? This I don't know about you guys, but I just started playing this game during lockdown because I needed something to do.
Now
I'm like, I'm going to go to New York to play this card game that I picked up for just out of a spur-of-the-moment decision. Like, it's absolutely mad.
Being fairly new to the world of card games, and I've never played a Magic the Gathering. I've not played like
Warhammer, tabletop games or anything like that.
Yeah, not played anything like that before. This is a completely new endeavor for me. And if you'd have asked me 2 years ago if I thought that I'd be traveling to a different country to play a game,
you'd be like, you would have hit us. What bunch of losers would do that?
No, that's not right.
No, that's exactly what I
couldn't see myself doing it, right? So to have this opportunity to be invited to the Pro Tour, yes, I haven't won a Progress, but I've managed to hopefully get a lifetime XP invite. That's incredible. Like, I feel honoured to be.
What do your wives think?
Oh, Kate loves
That's
it.
A very good question. I was really scared to bring
two very different answers there.
No.
My wife's really supportive. My wife
I'm projecting my fears onto my wife's answers, but My wife has been incredibly supportive, and I was afraid to bring it up with her because I thought the answer would be no. And when we talked about it, she was like, well, this is the first ever one, right? And you've been invited. This is a once in a lifetime event. You should go.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was just, my jaw dropped to the floor, and then I had plane tickets booked within 10 minutes because I didn't want her to take it back, right? So it was all booked.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
That's cool.
Couldn't believe it.
For once, actually, Faye actually turned around and said to me when we were talking about it, she was just like, yeah, I mean, why not? And I was like, oh, sweet. And then I think she knew deep down that if she goes, if I say yes, Hamish will just then go and be rational and go, oh no. Because if I say no, Hamish will be like, no, but I really want to go. And then I'll be irrational. But now
So now you've had to make the decision not to go rather than her.
Yeah, because she does that every time. Whenever she agrees with something, I then go, no, well, maybe actually it's probably not the best idea. Maybe I can't.
You have to make the choice. See, she's helped you to help yourself.
But she turned around and said to me, well, can you afford that and go to Worlds? And I was like, oh, probably not. She said, you're going to go Worlds. There's no way I'm stopping you doing that. So I was like, no, I'll put it all into that. So
I think you're making the right decision, Hamish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to Worlds is a big deal, and it's not going to be as easy.
It's FOMO,
it's not
right?
easy going to the Pro Tour.
It's
but
FOMO now. Everyone's going, and you're like, I'm going to miss the party. But don't worry, everyone. If you're not going, I'll do a live stream, and we'll try and live stream Simon and Tripp while we're live streaming on Push the Point.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if me and Simon get paired up at the Pro Tour, we will find a way to record it or live stream it or whatever if we can.
If you can.
And we'll try and get it on the channel because that would be a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible.
That'd be horrible.
You know it's going to be round
please.
one, right?
It'll be winning in.
What will happen is it'll be round 7 on day 1.
Yeah, winning in.
And we'll both be on 3 wins. And then if you get 4, you get to go back to day 2.
No, but I think you guys shouldn't really care because if you scrape into day 2, you are guaranteed not making the top 8. That's the problem with day 2.
It's not about that. It's
not about that.
To be fair, like the prize support for top 32 is like if you get in top 32, you get $500.
Oh no, I think it's
isn't
it top 32 also gets a PTI.
No, top 8 get a PTI.
No. In Pro Tour, it's more.
I don't know. Actually, maybe you're right, Hamish, but we don't know. But like, we'll try and record it, or we'll try and do something. We'll obviously do something while we're there for.
Yeah, no, I think we should. You should do some. We should do what Dan Tripp does. But Dan Tripp does it on his other channel. But Simon, you guys should vlog
record it. Yeah. Vlog it.
Yeah, we should do a bit of vlogging.
Yeah, send it my way, and while I'm sitting here, I'll just edit it all up and actually get it on as soon as possible. Oh man, we've all got ideas. Anyway, maybe we should wrap this up.
Yeah,
top 32 get a PTI. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, top 32.
Which is crazy. So you can just do the circuit.
Get $750 and a PTI.
God, see, you can get top 32 out of 400, 500 player event, surely. Probably
try
more.
Our best. Try to see what we can do.
I'm fully expecting to crash out day 1 and join the calling day 2. But there
not a problem in doing that either.
Yeah.
We're very excited about the Pro Tour. Neither of us are technically qualified. I am very close to not qualifying, so we'll see. It all depends on what happens in the next couple of weeks.
But the Battle Harden happens next weekend.
Hopefully that'll be enough to keep me in the top 100. If not, I'll just be going to the calling and just having the best weekend, just doing fab stuff all weekend and doing side events.
Living my best life.
But I'm definitely going to be there. We are going to wrap it up because we are getting to the end of the podcast. What do we normally do to wrap up? I don't know.
This is where we go back into random shit mode again.
Simon normally just says something.
We should probably say, please like and subscribe.
Yes, that is it.
YouTube
like
channel.
And subscribe.
We do have a Patreon, and they have been treated to some extended interviews from podcasts of the past. So please take a look.
Hamish's interviews are always super long, so you get a really good bonus segment.
And there'll be another one, no doubt, with Matt Foulkes. So
yeah, because we've talked a lot in this.
So if you want some extra bits and bobs, then have a look. Feel free not to join, but we appreciate those who do because you're amazing.
Yeah,
and it lets us do extra fun stuff. So
it does.
To the people that help.
Yeah, and hearts out to
thanks for listening.
Hearts out to all the people in Ukraine as well, which is that's
legit. Yeah, especially Fabrica, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know.
Who based out in Ukraine, but I did hear from them. They are safe, which is great.
That's awesome.
So huge shout out to those guys, and thanks guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.